All right, guys, this is number 9 from Worksheet 3.5. Number 8 was dealing with alternate exterior angles, so we're going to deal with one that's got a little bit different angles. They're both going to be exterior this time, but they're not alternate. So again, the whole point of this type of problem is to find the value of x that will make my two lines parallel. And I am going to trace like I did for the first problem. I've got a value of an angle right there. It's 7x minus 5. And I have another value of 5x plus 19. Okay, and I trace those two angles. The very first thing I have to do is figure out what type of angles those two angles are. Obviously, I've traced K twice, so that's my transversal, and my L and my M are the two lines that are in question as to whether or not they are parallel or what we can do to make them parallel. So then I just need to look at the type of angle that I have. And if you're looking at the angles, both of those angles are on the right side of K, so they're on the same side of the transversal. And both of those angles are on the outside of their two lines, right? Outside here versus inside here. Okay, so because these two angles are on the same side and exterior, they are indeed same side exterior. We got to remember that we're not very creative when it comes to naming things in math. So these are same side exterior angles. Okay. When we're dealing with angle pairs and we're dealing with trying to figure out if things are parallel or if we know that our lines are parallel in advance, you have two options. You have the angles are congruent, so we set them equal to each other, or we want the angles to be congruent, so we set them equal to each other, or the angles are supplementary, so we add them up and set them equal to 180. Okay. If we want L and M to be parallel, the same side exterior angles need to be supplementary. And if you're having trouble remembering which one's which, all you have to do is remember that S and S, same sides exterior, same side interior, they need to be supplementary. They all start with the letter S. So I am going to take my 7x minus 5. I am going to add that to 5x plus 19. And I'm going to set that equal to 180. Because if I do that and I solve this equation for x, then that is the value of x that will make my two lines parallel. At this point, we've got everything set up, so all we really have to do is a little bit of chicken, lettuce, tomato, CLT, combine like terms, however you want to say it. It all means the same thing, right? 7x and 5x is a 12x. And then I am going to, we'll go purple. I've got a negative 5 and a positive 19 gives me a positive 14. That equals 180. And then I just have to solve from here on out. I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides, so I will get a 12x equals a 166. I will divide both sides by 12, and when I do that, I get x equals, now, depending on what you're dealing with, what calculator you've got, if you got a nice fancy one, it'll reduce your fraction for you, so you've got 83 over 6. But if you want to rock the decimal, it's going to be 13.83, and then, of course, that's repeating. Okay, so we would need our x to equal 13.83 repeating in order for our two lines to be parallel.